Hey there, welcome to day 856 of What You Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here at your service and thinking about the idiom and the expression to get to the bottom of something. Now this is an idiom, this is an expression that's been around since the late 1500s and it's definitely impacted my entire life. I was one of those kids that always wondered how things work. So as soon as I could operate anything or figure out how to take things apart, I was breaking and taking things apart around the house. You know, I don't think we had a clock when I was a kid that wasn't, put away or under lock and key that I didn't take apart. Of course, I never put stuff back together because I just wanted to take it apart and see all the components and see how it worked. I didn't really want to put it back together again until I was older. And so I always have wondered how things work to get to the bottom of them and was curious about that. And in my career, that took me in the direction of what I studied and what I learned. I was always curious about things. I always wanted to know more and know why and know where things came from and how they originated and how to get a result that you wanted by looking at the process that you used to get there. And so during my corporate career, during my career in corporate America, as well as for my own businesses, quality and how things work and processes and systems, they're just kind of inherent in my being. They're the area that I love to work on and the things that I love to figure out. And part of that is, understanding everything, the root cause of things, what really is going on, not just what appears to be going on the surface. It goes on in every area and every aspect of our life, but especially in manufacturing and in businesses. Being in quality, you deal with a lot of the customer concerns and the quality concerns. And that can sometimes trigger a lot of emotions. I remember we would get some of the most amazing things sent to us when I first got out of college and worked at Procter & Gamble making toilet paper. People would actually send us their underwear in the mail and say that the toilet paper didn't protect their underwear enough or whatever. I think it was before, personal hygiene, things like Depends and things existed, but it was crazy. And my job, of course, in quality was to investigate and figure out and find out, well, where could this happen? Where could it maybe have happened? And then what caused it so that we could adjust and change the process to make sure that it wouldn't happen again. And we can apply this same thinking to every area and every aspect of our life, right? But a lot of times you got to get through the emotional aspect of what's going on and the reactions and the symptoms to get to the root cause. Many industries, although I think of the medical industry because I've got a lot of experience with that as well, and pain and illness. The whole medical industry is predicated on, we're going to figure out and diagnose what's wrong with you, so we do all these tests to figure that out, and then once we know what's wrong, what the diagnosis is, we're going to treat that diagnosis, we're going to treat that disease, we're going to treat that underlying issue. But when there's instances where they can't figure out what the root cause is or the underlying issue, they start treating the symptoms of that. And I experienced that in my early 20s. I got really, really sick, ended up in the hospital, and it was just like out of the blue sick, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. So they ran all these tests, still couldn't figure out what caused it and what triggered it. And that led to all kinds of different medications and things being diagnosed, to the point that I ended up bedridden for several years because the side effects of all of the medications I was taking ended up making me worse and have more symptoms and sicker than the underlying illness itself. And it wasn't until I made a conscious decision to get to the root cause of what was going on with me that anything changed in my life, and I actually got to reclaim my life and take my life back. And this happens in every industry, every area, every relationship, emotion, things that we interact with in our life. I mean, we're seeing it right now in what's going on in our crazy world. Coronavirus kind of started it, and then George Flynn's murder has just blown into this huge thing where people are fighting online and in social media. And I made the mistake of saying anything about anything and proceeded to be personally attacked for a day, and then I just shut it all off. I stopped watching it and stopped paying attention because it wasn't about what's really going on. It wasn't about, do we really want to know what's going on? Do we want to do a root cause analysis and find out what the root of the problem is and then address that problem and solve that problem? Or do we just want to sling mud and name call and make people victims and make people feel bad about whoever they are, whether they can help it or not? Or do we want to get to solutions, real solutions? Because nothing is ever solved by name calling and victimhood and making people feel bad about who they are, whether they can help it or not. And that means we have to get through all that, just like we have to get through all the emotions when somebody says they have flies in their cake, and investigate, because everybody's like, oh, that's not possible, da 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 da. Well, yeah, it is entirely possible. It's very improbable, and our belief systems have to change, because we thought that freezing process and heat treating things could eliminate potential problems in things. There's a lot of belief in the cooking stage of food, especially in the food industry, that you can cook something out of something, that you can cook, illness or parasites or things out of something. And I learned through my career that allergens are one thing. The protein that triggers the allergic reaction in people cannot be removed from a manufacturing environment, from a surface, or from anything. Once that protein's there, you can't heat treat it off, you can't freeze it off, you can't chemically treat it off. It cannot be removed. It will still remain, because protein particles are small, right? That's the thing that triggers the allergic reaction that can kill someone. So, are you going to label your products and say, hey, may contain thing to protect people, or are you going to create separate manufacturing facilities so that you can protect people? Or are you going to ignore that understanding, because we now have that understanding about the protein that creates allergic reactions, and then we have to make our choices. But until we investigate and we figure out what's really going on, we can't find solutions to anything. And name calling and arguments and emotional beating people up and trying to make everybody feel bad for what their experiences have been, it doesn't do any good. So we want to get to the root cause of it. And I'm all about, I should have been Nancy Drew or Murder, She Wrote investigator, because I love investigating really things, and not what people say happened, and not what I see in media or the news. I want to find out for myself. It's like our beliefs, and for decades I didn't know that I could actually choose how I wanted to see things and choose what I believed. I, like everybody else, grew up thinking my beliefs were my beliefs and they were the right way of looking at the world, because we all do that, right? We only know what we know until we know better, right? And so now I really like to look at, when I say something or do something, I'm like, well, where the hell did that come from? Because sometimes it isn't my belief, right? It's the belief of my parents or my grandparents or my ex-husband or my kids even. We get our beliefs from all sorts of things. It might be a book I read. I like anybody else. I read a lot, but I'll read a book and then all of a sudden that idea is fresh in my mind. So I'm looking for ways to apply that idea in other aspects of my life. And we're all impressionable, right? We're all results and products of our environment, products of what we choose to look at, products of what we choose to think about, products of what we choose to believe. So, get to the bottom of this. Obviously love that topic. I love this topic, right? I've done thousands and thousands of what we call root cause analysis, looking into and investigating something in a systematic way to really find out what's happening. One of my favorite things in life and in America and in corporate America and in my working world, and even with my own businesses, was to go backwards through a process, right? We always create a process forwards, right? What do we do to manufacture ravioli? That was my life for 35 years. Well, we have a process, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and we follow that process, we document that process, we keep track of that process. But if anything is to happen, we want to actually look at the process, but go backwards through the process to find the point of deviation, right? Find the point where something could have possibly gone wrong. One time, we were making ravioli, and they turned orange. And we're like, what the heck? How can the ravioli be orange? We looked at the water. We didn't visibly see that anything had changed. But when we put the water in a different container that we were running the ravioli in to cool them, we realized that the water was actually orange. It had rust in it, which isn't dangerous, but it wasn't what we wanted in the quality of our end product. Ravioli is pretty white, so if they have an orange hue, it's kind of creepy, unless maybe it's Halloween and you did it on purpose, which we didn't do. Well, we had to trace back, and I had to investigate and find out that the city had actually upstream from us in the water system had flushed out the rust in some homeowners' pipes because they were complaining about rusty colored rings in their toilets. So without letting anyone know, and businesses know, because we're the only actual food manufacturing plant in our area, they just flushed out the pipes. And so then that whole day we had to run water through our system. We had to take a whole day off and clean out the pipes to make sure there was no orange or rust in the water that we cooled the ravioli off on. And you know, it's not anybody's fault, but if we didn't know what had happened and we didn't look into it, we just would have made a bunch of orange ravioli, sent them out, and gotten a bunch of complaints, right? Because you really didn't, it was really a light hue. I mean, probably the human eye wouldn't notice it, but I'd been in printing for years, and so I have a way to discern color that most people don't. And I'm like, why are the ravioli orange? And then, you know, we can't assume that the person cooking the ravioli and cooling them has done anything wrong because the ravioli's orange. They didn't, you know, create them orange. So we have to look into and really find out what's causing things to happen. And then we can do something about it, right? Until we knew that the city had flushed out the pipes and the water was indeed had rust in it and was orange, we couldn't solve the problem, right? So we had to stop production and figure it out because we weren't going to make a bunch of bad product. So, love this topic. Absolutely, positively love the get to the bottom of something. And I'm learning that, you know, just like anyone else, I'm a human being and I can be triggered by people's personal attacks and emotions because we get triggered. So root cause analysis, get to the bottom of it. Get to the bottom of everything. Don't take things on face value. A lot of times people will say something to us and it hurts our feelings and we forget to realize what they're saying really isn't about us 99% of the time. It's about something that's going on with them. They might be judging us for something they're feeling about themselves, or they might be, you know, just spouting off or triggered. I don't know. We all trigger one another. Human beings are like massive button pushers. Anyway, today is day 2 of the Get Up and Go Challenge, doing a 40-day challenge as part of a challenge for 150,000 entrepreneurs to create their own challenge in their life. Because guess what? If 150 business owners do a 40-day challenge and up-level themselves, that's going to automatically impact all of the people that they come in contact with. So I said, yep, I'll sign up for that. I've been doing challenges anyway. Let's do a 40-day Get Up and Go challenge. And what I love about it is we can actually spend the amount of time on a couple of key areas and topics that usually get glossed over. I've done lots of challenges, and I've led lots of challenges, and I've participated in literally hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of challenges. Well, definitely thousands of challenges through my life, but hundreds of other people's challenges for sure. And one of my personal biggest frustrations is that you rush through a process so fast that, yeah, you can do a little teeny piece of it, but you're not really doing what you need to do for it. I love when people say, you know, day 1, identify your ideal customer. Day 2, you know, start creating the marketing for that customer. Day 3, or whatever, they take you through their process. And it is such a teeny tiny aspect of what they do. My favorite taste of that was in the 30-day One Funnel Away challenge. I love that challenge. I've done it at least, I don't know, 5 or 6 times with people and with the groups of people. But there is no way that if you're going through it the first time in 30 days, unless you have all kinds of components in places, things in place, that you can get through that challenge. And it's a minimum commitment of 3 or 4 hours a day to do that challenge, to give it any type of justice whatsoever. How many people actually commit to, number one, the vast majority of people won't commit to 30 days. They won't do anything for themselves for 30 days. But except for go to work for somebody else, right? To go to work for somebody else for 30 days. We do that all the time. We go to school for a lot more than 30 days. We do a lot of things every day, but we don't realize that we do. We need to do more of those things that actually are in alignment with what our life is. So what I like about it is we can break it down and we don't have to fly through those things that we should think about for more than one day, right? Who do you want to serve? Who's your ideal customer? That usually for most of us is not an instantaneous answer, and we don't pick the right group the first time, right? At least I haven't. Maybe it's just me. So Get Up and Go challenge, we talked about what do you want yesterday, and today was what do you really want? Not what do you think you should want. What does your heart and your head and your soul all together really want, right? Maybe it's just me again that spent decades doing what I thought I should do instead of what I knew was right for me. I didn't even consider that I should be a component back then in determining what was right or not. I didn't even know back then that I was doing what I thought I should do, not what I really should do for me. That didn't even enter my conscious belief or thought about anything. I didn't even know that I had the ability to impact my own beliefs and to change what I was thinking about. So, Get Up and Go Challenge, day 2 of 40. And I know a lot of people don't like longer challenges, but I freaking love them because they will change your life. You know, the whole 12-week year, 12-week year instead of a year. I've been doing that for 20 years in my life and in my personal life. And it's allowed me to overcome some challenges that most people would have just shut down and stopped and never done anything else. And I know that if it's possible for me, it's definitely possible for you as well. So that fun challenge today was day 147 of our 365-day do one fun thing every day. And I can't think of a more important year that fun should have been a component of it. I am so grateful that I decided that this was my year to look for fun things, because a lot of weird stuff's happened. I mean, weirder than ever in my life has happened, and I've been through some really strange, weird things. So fun is definitely one of the things that I personally want to focus on having more fun of. So that was our obviously lots of challenges. That is it. I'm going to haul off. My granddaughter will be here soon, and I cannot wait to see her, because yesterday I had to deal with some legal and business challenges and issues, and I didn't get to spend very much time with her. And today I'm super excited and delighted that I get to spend time with her. So if I can help you in any way, ask in the comments below. From one reforming, I won't say I'm reformed, not asker, to maybe another, know that you can always ask. I may not know the answer, but I will help you to find it, or to put you on the path to where you can get the thing that you need, whatever that next thing is. So ask in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow. You know, probably not ranting so much about life, but this get to the bottom of something really hit a nerve, I guess, in me today. That, yeah, that is my general track and modus operandi. That's what I'm going to focus on. I'm not going to focus on all the noise, because all the noise is created by people that have their own agenda, right? All the noise is created by people that have their own pasts and feelings and beliefs and victimhood and experiences that have led them to have the opinion that they have right now. Again, who does that belong to is one of my favorite questions, because sometimes I find that I am believing something or thinking something that has nothing to do with me. All right, have an amazing day. I will be with you tomorrow.